There's been an arrest in the Tornado Cash saga. A suspected 29-year-old developer has been arrested in the Netherlands, according to a release by the Fiscal Information and Investigation Service. The block reported the developer is Alexei Pertsev, as confirmed by his wife. The FIOD statement said on Wednesday, August 10th, the FIOD arrested a 29-year-old man in Amsterdam. He is suspected of involvement in concealing criminal financial flows and facilitating money laundering through the mixing of cryptocurrencies through the decentralized Ethereum mixing service Tornado Cash. Multiple arrests are not ruled out. Also, Tornado Cash's website and Discord both appear to be offline. Will, this is big news. I didn't think we were going to see arrests in this. This is a developer who has allegedly worked on the tool. What do you make of this news?
Yeah, between BlackRock getting involved in Bitcoin, the merge coming up in a few weeks from now, and Tornado Cash, we really have our headlines for the year. We have two big positives, and then we have one huge stinking negative in the middle of this, and that is Tornado Cash being sanctioned by OFAC. And now it seems to be extending to multilateral parties, including outside the United States. Here we see the Netherlands is actually taking action against a developer. And this has really pissed off crypto Twitter and just coders everywhere, because what this person has done is essentially taken free speech, moved it into code, and they have been arrested for that. The news about who was arrested came via the block, found out this morning, where they talked with the wife of the person arrested, and just arrested in the middle of the day, like you see with a lot of these things where someone is just scooped off the street and taken in for questioning. It's extremely unfortunate, and it really does put crypto not only within the crosshairs, but also puts a little emphasis on where we are at in terms of crypto adoption. Governments are coming for people. They're taking advantage of the situation, and they're going after people who are involved with some of these DeFi applications. This has happened in the past with Bitcoin mixers. Like there has been, like Blender.io was one that happened a few years ago. These things do occur. But for such a popular DeFi application like Tornado Cash, which a lot of the ecosystem has used, this moves it to another level. And on top of that, the fact that they're going after coders and developers in the space, and they're going to probably arrest more, is also very concerning. There's a lot of people who have helped build Tornado Cash. It's a very large ecosystem. It had its own token, Torn, it has a DAO, it has a lot of these, it has a Discord channel. Like, are all those people vulnerable to this? I'm not quite sure at this point, but it's pretty terrible headline to end the week. Adam, to you?
Yeah, my mother used to say, if you can't be a shining example, at least be a horrible warning. And I think that that's kind of what we're seeing here today. Really, all the regulators can do when it comes to issues like this is they can try and scare people, because the reality of it is that, you know, software is speech, and at least in the United States, that's protected. Now, you'll notice that this arrest happened outside of the United States, and that's interesting because it means that if not actually happening, then there is at least the very much appearance of coordination when it comes to Tornado Cash across multiple countries and multiple jurisdictions. And that's something I'm never excited to see because, again, it means that there's stuff going on in the background that we don't know about. And we're just starting to see it as these sort of cases come to light. Now, the kind of reality of this is that if Satoshi Nakamoto had the lack of foresight to have exposed his true identity or their true identity, then we would have seen something like this many, many years ago around Satoshi. Because again, to the extent that you can accuse Tornado Cash of doing something like this, well, I mean, heck, all of Bitcoin, you know, in the eyes of most traditional governments constitute the same basic type of thing. Neutrality is not allowed because the systems that we use to transfer money today do not have neutrality. They are not neutral systems. They're not intended to transmit money. They're intended to transmit money that complies with certain political aims or certain geopolitical sort of goals. And so as a result of that, it means that truly neutral systems, which on their face should be, of course, allowed because neutrality should be a better thing than these sort of kind of like partisan, decision makings about who can and can't use these systems. Like that's just, it's not allowed, right? You're not allowed to do these types of things. And it's really unfortunate because the world needs neutrality and the world needs tools that don't care about your politics, don't care about your opinions, just care, are you a human being? If you're a human being, then you should have certain abilities to use certain types of technologies, especially neutral ones. And if If you're not, then I guess I'm not concerned about putting dogs on the blockchain. Anyways, it's a sad story here, and it's always sad to see this type of person gone after, because the types of people who they're going to wind up putting in jail for this are exactly the worst type of people to put in jail for this, who will be punished the absolute most by it. And it's just, again, really sad to see that rather than engage with these things in open ways and create systems that actually, like serve the purpose, that are the reason people are using these things in the first place, instead you just go after kind of the weakest link in the chain and really just try to make an example to scare people off. So it's unfortunate to see, not surprising to see. And I do think that, again, as the stakes rise around this stuff, we have to see more of this, because otherwise they'll essentially be conceding that, crypto is going to win. Will, back to you. Oh, Jen?
I'll let Jen pick it up.
Again, with the... So I think this, again, to the conversation we were having yesterday, is all about power and fear at a really high level. So the statement about the arrest said the man has allegedly been involved in facilitating criminal financial flows and money laundering. I would just love to have a conversation with the people who are issuing this statement. What constitutes allowing criminal flows and money laundering? Is building a tool really... Does it really fall under that umbrella? Because then I think we can look at a lot of traditional financial systems and say, the people involved in developing or setting up a financial product that was used by bad actors are involved in money laundering. I think this is just such a really horrible precedent to set. And Adam, I took the sad story, so you didn't have to today. But Will, I'll pass it back to you. I think I saw your hand go up.
Yeah, just some numbers to throw out there that are interesting. Post-sanction, there's about $62 million withdrawn from Tornado Cash. About 15% of the total locked volume before has been removed from Tornado Cash as people are trying to exit that ecosystem. At the same time, if you're trying to exit the ecosystem, there's a few barriers. One, right? You are taking into consideration that OFAC might come and slam you for withdrawing your funds, because the guidance around this is not especially clear. Maybe you are able to take your funds and just take them out. No one's going to say anything. And in a day, you remove your funds from an illicit program. But OFAC might come and say, no, those funds are tainted. They've been touched by this project. You need to lock them up. You need to let the government know about it. And then in an appeals process, maybe you can get those assets back in the future. We don't really know, because there hasn't been a lot of guidance on this. But there's also a lot of people who are trying to withdraw their funds and they need access to that money, but exchanges are not allowing you to use it anymore because there's been blacklists. So if you're trying to withdraw from Tornado Cash maybe to some sort of centralized exchange, kind of hard to say that you're going to get that money, because it's already the iron curtain's already coming down for a lot of people. It's hard to withdraw your funds. So it's another sad story of retail getting wrecked by a very reckless regulatory move years after this application launched. This application launched in 2020 and people were aware of it. And if the government was more upfront about this, if they're going to do something about this, then I don't think as many people would have gotten hurt, especially arrests this late in the game. I mean, if you're 29, you're working on a DeFi application, can you believe that this would happen? This long into building this project seems a little ludicrous to me.